She died, and what she saw on the other side will shake you to your core. Imagine being clinically dead, no heartbeat, no breath, yet instead of fading into nothingness, you find yourself standing in front of Jesus himself. That's exactly what happened to Sarah Coleman, an ER nurse who never believed in near-death experiences until she had one. What she saw wasn't just for her, it was a warning for all of us. 4 prophetic events that are set to unfold, events that will determine the future of mankind, and one of them is already happening. Could this be the final wake-up call before it's too late? What if the very thing keeping you distracted right now is part of a much bigger deception? Jesus revealed the truth to Sarah. Now it's time for you to hear it. But before we begin, let me ask you something. Are you subscribed to this channel? Many people watch our videos but forget to subscribe. Don't make that mistake. If you want to stay ahead of revelations like this, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because what you're about to hear will change the way you see the world forever. Let's begin. The moment Sarah crossed over, she knew she wasn't in a dream. This was more real than anything she had ever known. The weight of the physical world had vanished, replaced by an overwhelming sense of peace, clarity, and an unshakable awareness that she was standing at the threshold of something eternal. The air itself seemed to hum with energy. Colors radiated a vibrancy beyond human comprehension, and an indescribable warmth wrapped around her like an embrace from an unseen force. This wasn't just an out-of-body experience, it was a revelation. Then she saw him. At first, it was just a presence, undeniable, powerful, yet comforting. Then the light intensified, parting like the dawn breaking over an endless horizon, and in the center stood a figure unlike anything she had ever seen. Jesus. His presence wasn't just seen, it was felt, penetrating deep into the core of her being. His eyes held eternity, wisdom, love, and an understanding so profound that it unraveled every doubt she had ever carried. There was no fear, no hesitation, just an overwhelming certainty that she was standing before the very one who had shaped the universe itself. When he spoke, it wasn't just words, it was truth. "Sarah, there is something you must see," his voice echoed, resonating in her very soul. In an instant, she understood that this wasn't just about her. It was a message meant for all of humanity. And before she could even process what was happening, the vision began. She was about to witness 4 prophetic events, 4 world-altering revelations that would shape the future of mankind. The first vision unfolded before Sarah like a living reality, as if she had been transported into the very fabric of time itself. She saw a world buzzing with artificial light, where people walked the streets, sat in their homes, and gathered in public spaces. But something was profoundly wrong. Their eyes were glued to glowing screens, their faces illuminated by the flickering light of their devices. Millions of souls, completely absorbed, completely unaware. Families sat together at dinner tables, yet no one spoke. Fathers, mothers, children, each lost in a digital trance, scrolling endlessly through an abyss of distractions. Couples lay beside each other in bed, yet their hearts and minds were miles apart. Even believers, those who once sought truth, were drowning in an ocean of noise, too consumed by the temporary to recognize the eternal. Then she heard his voice. Jesus stood beside her, watching the scene unfold. There was no anger in his expression, only a deep sorrow. "This is how the enemy works," he said. "He does not need to destroy them. He only needs to distract them." Sarah felt her heart tighten. It wasn't just entertainment, social media, or news cycles. It was a deliberate deception, a force designed to keep humanity spiritually asleep, suffocating their hunger for truth beneath an avalanche of triviality. The enemy had mastered the art of diversion. "Tell my people to wake up," Jesus said, his voice filled with urgency. "Tell them to refocus their hearts and minds on me. The time is short." As the vision faded, Sarah knew this was no mere observation. It was a warning, a wake-up call for a world that had unknowingly traded divine wisdom for endless distractions. And before she could even process what she had seen, the next vision overtook her, a deception far greater than anything humanity had ever faced. As the next vision unfolded, Sarah felt a sudden shift in the atmosphere. The world she had just seen, lost in distractions, now turned its eyes toward the skies. There, above the earth, magnificent lights began to appear, beautiful, mesmerizing, unlike anything humanity had witnessed before. They shimmered with unnatural brilliance, moving in ways that defied all known physics. And then they arrived. Beings of immense beauty, radiating peace and wisdom, descended upon the earth. They spoke in soothing voices, offering messages of unity, enlightenment, and a new era of human evolution. They promised an end to war, an end to suffering, a future free from division, where mankind could finally achieve its full potential. The world stood in awe, captivated by their splendor. Even the strongest believers felt their hearts waver. Then she heard Jesus speak. "These are not of me." His voice cut through the illusion like a sword. They mix truth with lies, deceiving even those who once stood firm. They do not come to save, they come to lead astray. Sarah watched as people, desperate for hope, welcomed these beings with open arms. Governments embraced them, religious leaders acknowledged them, and even those who once held firm to faith found themselves seduced by their words. The deception was complete. "Tell my people," Jesus said, his expression filled with sorrow, "to remain rooted in my word, for it is the only foundation that cannot be shaken." The vision was clear. A great deception was coming, one so powerful that it would shake the faith of millions. And as Sarah struggled to process what she had seen, the next vision took hold, a revelation that would bring both hope and suffering in equal measure. Just when it seemed that darkness had overtaken the world, Sarah saw something miraculous, a light, small at first, but growing in intensity. It spread like a wave, sweeping across cities, nations, and entire continents. She saw people falling to their knees, crying out to God, repenting and returning to their faith. Families who had been lost in distraction and deception were now praying together, their homes filled with the presence of the Holy Spirit. Churches that had once been empty overflowed with worshipers. The world was awakening. It wasn't just emotion. It wasn't just a movement. It was a revival unlike anything the earth had ever seen. Miracles began to happen. Everywhere, the sick were healed, the oppressed were set free, and lives were transformed in an instant. Sarah saw angels moving among the people, bringing restoration and peace. The power of God was undeniable. But with this awakening came something else: persecution. As faith grew stronger, so did the resistance. Believers were mocked, ridiculed, and even attacked for standing firm in their faith. Governments and authorities tried to silence them. Laws were passed to suppress their worship. Many were imprisoned. Some even gave their lives. Yet through it all, their joy remained unshaken. "My spirit will move powerfully in these days," Jesus said, "but the cost of following me will be great. Tell them to stand firm, for the reward is eternal." Sarah's heart ached as she saw both the glory and the suffering of this awakening. But there was one final event left, the most awe-inspiring and terrifying moment of all: the great return. Then, in an instant, the sky split open. Sarah was no longer watching visions of events unfolding on earth. She was witnessing the heavens themselves shake. The light that had once been gentle and warm now blazed with unimaginable intensity, illuminating the entire world in a brilliance no human eyes could withstand. Every soul on earth looked up, frozen in awe and terror. And then he came, Jesus clothed in glory, surrounded by countless angels, descending in majesty. The very fabric of reality trembled at his presence. Every knee buckled and every tongue confessed his name. Some did so with joyful reverence, tears streaming down their faces as they lifted their hands in worship. Others did so with unspeakable dread, realizing in that moment that they had spent their lives rejecting the one standing before them. Sarah felt an overwhelming wave of both triumph and sorrow. The time of waiting was over. There were no more second chances, no more warnings. The king had returned, and all of creation knew it. Jesus turned to her one last time. "Tell them I'm coming soon. Tell them to be ready." And just as suddenly as it had begun, the vision faded. Sarah found herself kneeling once again before Jesus, her heart pounding, her soul overwhelmed. The message was clear. She had been shown the future, not to instill fear, but to awaken those who still had time to prepare. Yet before she could even speak, Jesus looked at her with profound love and whispered, "You have one more task." As the brilliance of the vision faded, Sarah found herself still kneeling before Jesus. Her heart was racing, her mind struggling to grasp the magnitude of what she had just witnessed. 4 great events, warnings, revelations, and promises, each one more urgent than the last, yet as overwhelming as it all seemed. Jesus' presence remained calm, steady, unwavering. Then he spoke again. "You have seen what is to come, but remember this, I am always with you. My people will not face these days alone." His words wrapped around her like a shield, dispelling every trace of fear. Sarah suddenly understood. This wasn't just a vision for her. It was a mission. Jesus looked deep into her soul and said, Tell them that I see their struggles, their fears, their doubts. I am not distant from their pain. I am the God who heals, who restores, who makes all things new." A warmth surged through Sarah's chest as he placed his hand over her heart. She felt his love so intensely that tears streamed down her face. "Go back," Jesus said, his voice filled with gentle urgency. "Your work is not finished." Before she could respond, the light around her collapsed inward, a pull, a jolt, and then pain. Sarah gasped as her eyes flew open. The bright vision had vanished. She was back. Now you know what Sarah saw. The warnings, the revelations, the truth that cannot be ignored. But the question is, are you ready? Do you believe these events are already unfolding? Or do you think something even bigger is coming? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. And before you go, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Many people watch but don't subscribe. Don't be one of them. If you want to stay ahead of the truth and never miss powerful revelations like this, hit that button now and be part of this journey. And if you think this video was intense, wait until you see the next one. It's already on your screen, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Click on it now, and I'll see you there.